What's going on, Bills fans? This is Bills Latest. I am your host, Michael Korn. We are brought to you by Fanark. I don't know if anybody really is on Twitch or not, but apparently AJ Brown said take all of the unders on his props. This guy comes out every other week saying how unhappy he is in Philly. And he's getting the ball less this year than he did last year. Now, a couple of things to unpack there. One, with all the sports gambling stuff going on, I don't really know if you want that coming out on a Twitch. But I also understand why he said it. He didn't really say it for that. He doesn't want to be there. He is trying to blow up that situation as much as possible. And as a Bills fan, I see blood in the water. That is a guy that would be a great fit in Buffalo, already used to playing in the cold, wants to win a championship, wants to play with a quarterback who can throw the ball. Check and check. What would we have to give up to get A.J. Brown? I would be working overnight trying to figure out how to bring that man into the building. Because constantly he is talking about wanting to leave Philadelphia. So let him leave. Try to get something for him. You're not throwing the ball to him anyways. You're sending him over to the AFC, so he's not going to hurt you unless you see him in the Super Bowl, really. Maybe Buffalo can pull that deal off because they couldn't pull off a deal for Waddle, who's in their division. Because this guy does not want to be in Philly, man. Every other week, he's saying something. Tell him to bring his books to Buffalo. Bring his books to the bench in Buffalo. Maybe Coleman can read them. If I'm Buffalo, I am working so hard to get A.J. Brown. Because if they could get A.J. Brown, pair him up with Josh Allen, that would be immaculate. Now, I know it's not going to happen this year. But this offseason, that is who I am targeting. And if it takes a first-round pick, I hope they give it. Because it's not too often you can get somebody like that. Because Josh would be outstanding with somebody like that. I just thought that was some pretty crazy news on A.J. Brown and thought, hey, maybe Buffalo, maybe we could snag this in the offseason. Because Josh would love help. Because he's going to have to throw the ball against the Bucs this weekend. We don't really know how healthy Cook is yet. We know Kincaid probably not going to play. So he's going to have to play well. And he's going to have to not really listen to the fans and people who are saying, like, oh, you can't turn the ball over, this and that. He's your only chance. He needs to perform. He needs to throw the ball. He needs to be the playmaker this weekend. If they don't get the run established early, it's going to be the Josh Allen show. Which they better try to get that run established early. Because they're going to need to slow down the Tampa Bay offense because our defense, it just needs breaks. They're just too injured, too banged up. So the run game would be beautiful for Josh, even if it's him running the ball, because Cook can't because he's a little bit banged up. It needs to be the Josh Allen show this weekend against the Bucs. Because Baker Mayfield, he actually has wide receivers to throw the ball to. And he's thrown 16 touchdowns this year with only 2 interceptions. He is on fire. Mike Evans, I don't even know if he's played half of the games for Tampa. And that's a guy who's getting 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns almost every year. They have 2 wide receivers Buffalo would dream of having. And they got a quarterback that loves to use them. You'll see their tight end, Cade Otton. He'll be getting a lot of balls thrown his way with still the kind of injury to Evans. But Baker is going to be throwing it all over the field. He's not going to quit. That's the kind of guy that'll run through a wall. So with Baker and that run game and Bucky Irving, that Bills defense, I think they're going to let up a lot of points. They're going to have to put up a lot of points in this game to stay in this game. Because the Bills don't have the defense to stop Baker and their wideouts. And if they can't stop them, that means Josh is going to have to do Josh things and put up points. But Baker is going to probably throw for at least 2 touchdowns. At least. Because that's all he does. But the thing is, he could throw some picks. He hasn't really done it this year, but he can. And that Bills defense is going to not need to try to turn that ball over and get pressure on Baker. Because if Baker has all the time in the day in the pocket, he is going to just pick it apart, especially our defense. With those wideouts, they have a tight end too, believe it or not. Their running back isn't as good as ours. But Baker doesn't really make the mistakes he was making last year with not turning the ball over. So Buffalo's going to have to get creative scheme-wise or doing something, disguising and trying to fool them to create turnovers. Because I think our offense is going to need help. And Baker is going to put up points. And it's just going to be when Josh is on the sideline, how often is he looking over and be like, oh my God, those are wide receivers. I just wish we had one of those guys. I just wish. But no, we get to see if Hardman or Gabe Davis may play this weekend. Probably not Gabe Davis. Still hasn't been activated to the roster. Curious when that'll happen. Hardman, we'll see if he plays. Josh needs these guys. Keon Coleman is not the guy. He is not the guy. He looks clueless. He doesn't look like he's trying. There's zero effort. I feel like both him and Josh have kind of checked out on each other. Keon recognizes he's not going to get the ball. Josh recognizes he's not going to throw him the ball. So Keon doesn't even really run hard anymore. We need somebody to come in and just light a flame. They need to start getting these wide receivers going, whether it's just quick outs, just something to get them touches early and often to get them heated up. Even if it's Shakir on just little quick slants. Again, probably not going to have Kincaid this weekend. So you're going to lean heavy on Hawes and Knox. Great tight ends, but still. Just one wide receiver. And who knows? Maybe Hardman shows up and is the old Kansas City Chiefs Hardman. Just a speedster, just getting what we need, that speed. Because that is what this team needs. Speed and somebody to just extend that defense so that the run game is even better. So if he can do that, or if and when Gabe Davis comes back, if somebody can help, because Gabe Davis is really just a better, more mature Keon Coleman, a big-bodied. And at least Gabe Davis has done things in the past. It's just I don't know when he's going to get activated, but he's been practicing for weeks. But if just one of these wide receivers can just have a 50, 60-yard day with a touchdown, like we're not going to have that receiver that puts up 120 yards, 2 TDs. It's just not going to happen. We need a couple guys to have 40 to 60 yards and a touchdown. That is what Buffalo needs to do. And that's really their only option because they don't have one guy that constantly gets open. So I'm very interested to see how often Hardman plays, if he plays, what kind of packages he's in on. Does Josh even look his way? Because I feel like Josh does not look the way of new receivers. He likes chemistry. because I feel like he's been super successful when he was going to Samuel and Palmer, but he just doesn't seem to go to him a lot. That and Brady doesn't play them a lot, which why'd we bring him in? Just to bring in more wide receiver threes. So hopefully one of these wide receiver threes shows up this weekend, because if they don't, it is going to be tough for Buffalo. Well, that's been Bill's Latest. I'm your host, Michael Korn. Again, we are brought to you by FanArc. We'll be back more tomorrow with some betting lines and all that fun stuff. We hope you guys tune in. We hope you hit that like and subscribe button down below, and we can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much.